Hello everyone and welcome back to Mafke's History Week with this time Sid Meier's Railroads! All aboard! This game got launched in 2006 and it's actually one of my all-time favorite games. It's very relaxing, also intricate and a lot of fun, and it's even got multiplayer, but I'm gonna do single player for this since it's just more of a show and tell. So basically what this game is, you're running a railroad company, and that means you lay out the tracks, you buy the trains, but you can also buy or take an interest into certain businesses inside the map. So for instance, this city might require coal because there is an electricity company there. So what you can do is buy an interest in that electricity company, and then from this mountainside that's producing coal, run a train line that way and start hauling over coal towards that electric company. Now each time you do that, you'll receive payment for delivering coal to that city, but also you receive extra income from that electricity company because it's able to produce output. And there's all kinds of materials and products that you can move around the map in that way. And as cities grow bigger, they start to demand different things, more expensive things. Like in the later stages, you be able to haul over cars or bombs for warfare. But we'll get to that later. So basically, we start off in the year 1850. You can change that to whatever period you like, but I usually start off in the early years. And you can set this to when the map will actually end. I actually never reach the end date because you can buy out your competitors and take over their companies, and that's what I usually like to do. I usually play on Mogul settings. Difficulty means the amount of starting cash you start off with, the amount of shares in your own company you start off with, and the amount checks and maintenance and such cost. So I usually do it a little bit over 100% for cost, so to make it a little bit tougher, a little less starting cash. Yeah, just to keep it interesting. Now, routing difficulty actually comes in easy, medium, and hard. Easy means if you lay a single track, two trains can run right through each other. So if you lay down one track and two trains are on it on a collision course, there won't be any collisions. They'll just phase through each other and continue on their way. If you set it to medium, those trains will actually wait for each other, and after a given period of time, they'll decide to run or phase through each other anyway. If you put it on hard, which I usually do, is, or actually always do, you cannot have those trains actually phase through each other, so they'll come to a dead halt until you fix that situation on the track. So, for instance, deroute one of the trains. Now, this is the amount of artificial intelligence players you're playing against. So let's start off with just one for, just for the looks of this. The maps there's two kinds of maps. First of all is the mission maps like this. This has an objective. Build a shipping line from Flagstaff to Phoenix and Las Vegas. So this means connect these three cities with railroads, and then get in on the gold rush, ship 5 carloads of gold to get yourself started with some spending money. So as a second objective, before the end year of 1899, you'll have to have these three cities connected with railroads and have shipped 5 carloads of gold. Now, the AI players don't have that objective, but they will get in your way. And eventually, they'll even try a hostile takeover and buy out your company, so you'll lose the game altogether. Now, there's all kinds of different types of missions. So, Northern United States, 1830, that's the period from 1830 to 1970. By 1880, New York, Philadelphia, and Washington should be connected. So, you can just play through history with these kinds of missions. There's also Great Britain in it, France, Germany, and then you come to the more creative free play sandbox mode. These are just maps you can go on and play, and there's no actual objective except from getting or staying alive and don't be the one that gets taken over by the other companies. So we're just going to start off with that, and let's do a fun map. I think this is a fun map. So let's just jump in and start playing. Now, like I said, this is one of my all-time favorite games, and I actually really like it. I don't know what it's going for on Steam, but I recommend it to everyone. If you're into trains, well, I'm not even that big of a train buff, so let me pause the game real quick. Otherwise, my competitors will get a head start, and I won't be able to explain the game. So if I zoom out this far, I'll be in the clouds. I can turn that off, but I'll just zoom in slightly. This is my starting town of Towson. And as you can see, this Towson city is supplying passengers and mail. And seeing this is a medium-sized town, you'll get into the particulars of what is small, medium, and large over time as you play the game. But this will over time max out at 4 passengers and 2 mail. Now what that means is each of these numbers indicates the number of cars on your train that or cargoes on your train that you can haul. So if I now would have a train leave this station with passengers and mail enabled, I would get 1 cargo of passengers and 1 cargo of mail out of this town, and the rest of the cars on my train would be empty. So that's you need to manage how loaded your trains are. More loaded trains will go slower, but they'll have a higher return rate once they reach the end station, or more revenue. Now, this town also demands from other towns, or would like to have, is a better word, passengers, mail, food items. These are processed goods. They would like to have corn, and they would like to have oil. Now, why do they want coal or corn? Is because this is a food plant, and this food plant will actually turn the corn into food items, which you can then ship to other cities. This also has a refinery, which turns oil, so that, into refined goods, which you can then send to other cities. So this is a pretty decent spot to be in, given that we can find some corn around. Now, if we click on this town, you'll see on the minimap all sorts of things that are listed on here. So this town is demanding corn, and you can see there's corn right over there, and it's not even that far away. So what we could do is try and decide to lay a track from this town to the cornfield and start supplying this greenery or food plant with corn, so we can ship the food out to, for instance, this city, which is requiring food. Now, if we do that in a circle, the train would do a nice course. So that's what I'm going to do. Let's see if there's other corn around as well. There's some over here, but we need to bridge across that. But this is a bigger one. If you click on this, it'll actually say this grain farm is large. Large grain farms will really quickly replenish their goods, and they will have up to 12 units or cargoes to go at a maximum, at the max at any point of time. This one is a small one. Small ones go up to 4 cargo units. So it might be more advantageous to lay a track towards this farm. It might cost more because we need to bridge over the water, but it will also give us a steady supply of grains, which we can then use in our food processing plant, which we might buy or take an interest in. So if we plan that out, that we lay a track towards that cornfield, we also need to plan out where we are going to take the food that we are producing in this town. So if we click this, you can see on the map all the exclamation marks are towns that are in need of food. So for instance, this is a town that needs food, and this one has different demands and different supplies. So if we connect to this town and supply it with food, we can then start to look and give it the wood it needs from there. And with that, we can then move the produce from that over to that town. And so that way you can make a real intricate network of supply and demand. So let's just start building. Over here is your menu. This is to buy a train, but to buy a train we will first need to lay a track. This is to buy new stations, so to claim a town, or to claim some farm area or whatever. This is a single track, so we can lay one track. This is a double track in case we want to go have trains go back and forth. And since we're on the hard difficulty, that might be a good way to go in our heavy connected points. But since this is just a simple line getting grain over from one place to another, we can do with the simple a simple single track. Now, as I tried to lay this down, you'll see that I need $27,000 to lay this track. At the top right, you'll see over here, I've got 3,000. Now, I can do it like this and try and get it a little bit cheaper. But what I can also do is open up my financial bits over here, and these blue lines are actually the stock that is that I have of my company. The grayed out ones are for sale. So, for instance, if anyone has $237,000 laying around, they can buy an interest in my company. If they have more capital or how do you call those things? Yeah, if they have more stock than me, they can buy me out in a hostile takeover. But we can do the same thing with the competing company. So we can buy up all their remaining stock and do a hostile takeover on them. Now, what that means is you can either liquidate them, so sell everything they had and take the money for yourself, but you can also just take over their railroads and use it as your own. Now, since I want to lay a decent track, which is going to cost me about $350,000, I'm going to sell one of my stock off. And now you see I've got $500,000 to spend, but I've got one piece of stock less. And that'll leave me vulnerable because you see the selling or the buying price has gone down as well, leaving me vulnerable for hostile takeovers from the competitors. But anyway, let's lay down this track. We've laid down the track. It's connected up. As you could see just now, it had that green circle. That's the area of effect in which you can place your station and claim it for your own. And now we're just going to place this grain filling machine. So we've got a station over here. We've got the food or the farm over here with a nice little station as well. So we've got a continuous line. Now if we go to our trains, so we shifted up a bit. My game crashed and we have to start over. I'm really sorry for that. So I'm going to hurry this along a bit. Anyway, this game is pretty stable if you play it. Apparently my recording software is causing some issues with it, so recording it is probably not a very good idea for an entire series, but yeah. This city we just started in has a power plant, and the power plant needs coal and or oil to run. Now there's coal right over here. It's a large one, so it might be a good idea to start out over there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little turn over here, or on that side. I'm not really too bothered. Well, no, I am bothered with that, because if I started over here and have the turn go this way, the train will have to come here and then go back in. So we might as well start it off in front of the station and have it go. No, I don't want to go that way. Have it go this way. And then connect it up to that green dot, which is the area of effect of the mine. Place our new mine and get our train rolling. So what I want to do is get a train, and this is the amount of ore that is currently available. Since it's a large one, I already know it's going up to 12 at any given point in time, but our train is limited to 8 pieces of cargo. Now, as you can see, my max speed is now 12 miles per hour. We're in the 1800s, but that's also due to the amount of ore or cargoes I'm shipping. Now, because I always like to do it the most efficient way, or the most efficient way of transporting goods in quantity and not so much in speed, is I'll just fill up my entire trains if I can. Now, we've got a starting station. That's the Sage Minerals Limited. That will go to our town. So we click that, and it will automatically send everything back. Or, well, if it's needed over here, it'll unload. If it's not needed, it will send it back. Now, because there's nothing that this mine actually needs, because there's no demand in the mine, we are going to clear this one out. So what this does is we send a full load of coal from the mine towards that city, and from that city it will actually go back empty. Now, why am I doing that? First of all, the minerals limited it doesn't have any demand, so it won't pay me for any loads that I bring there. And second of all, this one's going with 12 miles an hour with a full load. This one will actually go with 15 miles per hour, so it'll make the round trip really, really fast. So let's get this car on the road, and let's unpause. That's the station I just built, and now our little train is gonna get filled up. So you can see the coal sliding down into our coal containers, cargo units thingies, and that will go into this town. Now this power plant costs $120,000 to buy. I don't have that, so instead of selling our stock to get the funds we need to lay track, we can actually now buy this power plant. What this does is start an auction for this business. So my competitors will be able to actually compete with me for the bid of this company. Since this takes time, and this is actually already unloading, the price will fluctuate over here. As you can see, the price is already going up. The value of the company is going up because it's starting to produce, and it now has a yearly revenue. If this company would have been mine before that train had unloaded, I would have gotten that yearly revenue, or at least a piece of it. Now, because this piece of track is sticking out, we've got a newspaper notification that the Mayor of New Freedoms is asking for railroads. The first company that delivers 7 carloads of oil will actually get a financial bonus from that city. But as I was saying, this piece of track is sticking out, so I'm going to delete it, and we can start working with that. So let's see if there's any towns nearby that we can connect to. I think there's a town over here. Yep, there is. And this one is supplying with a whole lot of passengers and mail, and I think this one is as well. So yeah, we're going to lay a different track next to this station. Oh, new speed record, 26 miles per hour near Hunt Valley Landing. The Baron Rothschild, that's the my competitor. He just put in a new speed record. The speed records don't really matter. It's just more of a prestige thing. But yeah, we now laid a new piece of track, and we can start connecting this up if we have enough money to that new city over here. And we don't have enough money. Again, we need 368,000, which we don't have. So we can wait for all the trains to unload. As you can see, my money's already going up. Or we can sell off some stock again. Like so. And the same guy just pulled in a new speed record. We're going to connect this up. So now we've got a station in this town. This station, it can be upgraded. If I upgrade it to a station, or it's now a depot, if you can upgrade it to a station for $100,000, 50% of car loads or unload speeds will be gained. So you can unload and load your cargo faster, 50%. So the train won't be stuck in your station all that long. Plus, you get more revenue for passengers and mail. So it's really advantageous to actually do this. Plus, it doesn't mention that here. A depot can only handle 2 side-by-side tracks. A station can handle 3 side-by-side tracks. Depot is 1, station is 2 side-by-side tracks, and the terminal, which is that yellow building that we have in our original, that one, can have 3 or 4 next to each other. So as you expand, it's really good to have more options and expand your stations as well. So let's put in another train over here, and I'd like to always have a little bit to spare, so I'm not going to do the full passengers or the full mail, although, and I'll show you that in a second, the passengers at this point will actually bring you more revenue. So I'm going to do the same over here. So the passengers from here and the mail from here are going to be dropped off here. Then we're going to load up the same amount from passengers that want to go from here to there and send that train back. Now over here is the goods list. As you can see, they're sorted. At this point in time, if you can deliver automobiles, you'll get $50,000 per carload that you can unload. Although they're not really manufactured yet, so that's a hard thing to do. Same with manufactured goods. These are the prices you get per cargo load. So the meal is not really that advantageous to send around. Passengers not so much as well. The coal we're sending around is pretty good, but since these have a steady supply of both passengers and mail, that's pretty much the only thing we can do right now. Now this one is actually manufacturing steel from coal, so we could line this up with the coal plant over there, and then that steel should be going over here. It's already indicating it. This is an automobile factory that will actually turn that steel into cars. And as you can see over here, steel is very expensive, so it will bring a lot of money, and automobiles will actually get more money as well. So if we can get that set up really quickly, we should be fine. Now I think I said 1, but it's actually 2, so that's good. So what we can do now is, I'd like to keep this a little bit flat and level. Bridges are very expensive, so it's better to just shortcut it a bit. You'll lose speed in short turns, and you'll lose speed going straight up a hill. But that's always better than spending a lot of money on bridges that you hardly will ever use. And a new train came out. This train will cost us 72,000, but its maximum speed is 50 miles per hour, and its preferred cargo is freight. Now this is actually a really good engine to work with. So what we can do now is go over here and look at a train. That's a 440 American, which is 2 years old and has a maintenance cost of 2,400 per year that can be upgraded. So let's replace that. So this is the car we're running, and as you can see, if you have 8 cars on it, it will actually go pretty much what's that, about 17 miles per hour maximum. This has a minimum of 20 miles per hour, so this is really fast, and it only costs a fraction more per year to maintain. So let's select that, and you should be seeing this train go a little bit faster already. Now the same can be done for this one, although this one is producing 12 pieces of coal. As you can see, it's already cranking it out bit by bit, but it's not turning it out fast enough for full cargo loads to be sent out. As you can see, the last 2 are empty. So what we can do with this is actually take 2 of these off, so the train will go slightly faster, or actually take 3 off because we were only hauling 6 at a time. And since we're going to put a faster engine in, it will actually haul less at a time because it'll go up and down faster. So now we should be able to hopefully get 5 cargoes filled by the time it gets back there, and I don't think it will. But we were working on this. We just connected up the coal line to this town. We didn't buy that factory yet, but that steel needs to go somewhere. So and I'd like to use the same train for that. So let's put this one this way, put another station in. So this is now one continuous line from this coal mine, which is this one on the map, which we are going to fill up completely with coal, send it over here, but this one doesn't need coal. This one is supplying passengers, mail, and once it has processed all that coal it's going to get, it'll actually produce steel as well, which needs to be sent over there. Now, this one isn't sending out steel, but will be producing cars. But because this is not a major city, it's not supplying, as you can see, or demanding cars yet. I think this one is, because that's the only major city in the game already. But these will grow over time if you supply them with enough materials. So this one isn't demanding cars yet, so there's no sense in sending out really expensive cars to a location that doesn't want them, because you're not going to get paid for them. So we're first going to let this stockpile in here and send over some passengers and mail back instead. Now if I do it like this train will go with the coal from there to there, with the steel from there to there, and with the passengers and mail back to there. But this is a mine, so the passengers don't want to go there, they actually want to go there. And from here it can actually go back empty towards there. It sounds complicated, but once you start playing with it, it's actually really simple. Now we've got 300,000 and we are supplying this factory with coal, so we might as well buy the steel mill. Start off a new auction, and our competitor will probably start bidding on this one, because the more expensive the materials, the more interest the other player has in bugging you with it. But if not, it's fine with me as well. And it's ours. So now that we bought this one, we can see what happens when we unload some coal. There you go. We get money from loading it, unloading, plus we get revenue from this company. So that's good. Now this will go and grab the steel that this is producing, which isn't all that much yet because it hadn't had time to produce the coal yet, but eventually it will bring the steel over to here. Now this car factory is really nice as well, so let's buy that as well, so in case we do send out the steel that way, we will get the profits from it. And we're actually getting a good decent amount of money already, so that's really good. And there goes our steel delivery. So 30,000 per. That one wasn't a full loaded car, so that's why we got less for it. And we now own the automobile factory. Since this is now starting to become a junction, I want to upgrade this so trains can actually unload faster. And if I do that once again, they will do another get another 100% on unloading. There's also some dynamic events. So toothpick tragedy triggers lumber loss. So if we were hauling pieces of wood around, we would actually get less money once we start unloading them because of this tragedy. And this will actually fade out over time, but it's a nice mechanic. So let's buy the full upgraded station. And there you have it. So this is now a full upgraded station. We can do the same with this one, just to be to have it in case these trains come along more often. So let's buy this completely as well. And we still have some money to spare. Now, at this point, we are starting to make money, but so is our competitor. So if we open up his stock panel, you can see that he has 3 shares and we've got 2 shares. Now, there's 2 things I can do. I can start buying up my own company and make sure that I don't get a hostile takeover, but I can also start taking him over. So now I bought one of his shares. As soon as it lets me, I can buy more shares. So over time, as I get more money, I can start buying him out. Now, because as I buy more shares, the stock prices go up. Eventually, he'll hold on to these 3, and I need to buy him out completely. The prices of stock will actually go up about triple, once all stock is gone. So these 3 that are now worth 1 million, if you do this times 3 for 3 pieces of stock, will then actually be worth 3 million. So yeah, there's a lot of game mechanics involved. There's also a patent auction. If we buy this, all passenger delivery bonuses will be added by, we get 25% added delivery bonus. And as you can see, he wants that. So he placed a bid for 50,000 and we can up that by 60 and now it's ours. If we win this for the coming 25 game years, we will have a patent on this. So we will be the only player that deserves 25% passenger delivery bonuses. So that's a good thing. And there are more kinds like these, for instance, for cheaper track building or cheaper bridge building. So yeah, you name it. And we just won it. So, oh, it's for 10 years, exclusivity. So yeah, that's a showcase of this game really quick. Are we producing metal? Yes. Yes, we are producing metal. Are we producing cars? Come on. Yes, we already produced a car. So if we now look, this car needs to actually go there. Now, it's going to be an investment to get this car over the water this way, so that'll take some time. So you can easily spend 2 hours in one of these maps or even longer and just have fun, and it's really relaxing as long as you don't forget to buy your own stock and buy his, because by the time you've forgotten to do that, he will actually buy you out. And you can play this with friends as well, so that's awesome. Anyway, I want to leave it at this for now. Like I said, it's one of my favorite games of all times. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it at that. This was Sid Meier's Railroad. Thank you for watching. If you liked it, please leave a like down below, and I'll see you back next time. Bye!